On the eve of the tourist season, residents of Crimea's most famous resort, Yalta, are divided about the impact a referendum binding the region to Russia will have on the tourism industry. Crimea is known for its palm-fringed seafront boulevards and rocky hills, but it is far from self-sufficient. It is subsidised by the government and depends on Ukraine for its electricity, drinking water and much of its food. Yalta, known as the Jewel of Crimea, has always been one of the favourite tourist destinations amongst Russians and residents of the former Soviet Union. In 1945, Soviet leader Joseph Stalin, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and US President Franklin Roosevelt met for a historic conference. But some Yalta residents are worried that the March 16 referendum might change the fortunes of the peninsula. After all, Crimea depends greatly on tourism.
This year, I think there will be not too many tourists. But nonetheless, I hope the authorities will try to make sure that some will come, because for Crimea it's like a food, because Crimea lives off tourists.
One pensioner from Yalta is concerned about recent developments in the region and hoped that the situation would not escalate into an armed conflict.
Those who used to come here, I think they will come again. Those who didn't come here, they will not come. But the most important thing for the situation is not to develop into an armed conflict. In this case, of course, no one will come. We ourselves will have to hide in some cellar.
But Anton, a lawyer from Yalta, said he was pinning his hopes on Russia.
I think we have to hope that our Ukrainian tourists like our Crimea, regardless of whether it's been Russian, Ukrainian or independent, and we hope this will not have a strong effect. And if it does, we hope the Russians will compensate for the loss of Ukrainians.
Over half of the peninsula's visitors are from Ukraine, so any reduction in visitor numbers would have to be compensated by tourists from elsewhere. But the future is uncertain. If Russia does annex Crimea, then the move would dismember Ukraine against its will, escalating the most serious East-West crisis since the end of the Cold War.